We're going to get to our interview with Susan Lucci, soap opera legend Susan Lucci, in just a moment. But first, we want to share with you again a local connection to Susan Lucci.
Yeah, beautiful story here. Lauren Licata, who lives in Shortsville, told us a story about her grandmother, Teresa McDonald from Greece. You see Teresa there. Now, Teresa passed away in September. She had pancreatic cancer. She was a big Susan Lucci fan, and Lauren wrote to Lucci this summer. Lucci responded and set up a phone call.
Here's some of that call.
Is it beautiful up there today? We're having
it's gorgeous.
Here. How about you?
It's gorgeous out here today.
I'm
Just
glad
like,
to hear that.
Yep, you did it.
You made her day.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Teresa, have you been watching DDS Made?
I have been watching Susan Lucci, right?
Yeah,
all my life.
Oh, my goodness. I am so honored, Teresa.
Yes, I have.
That.
Since
Thank you so much.
I was just a kid when I started watching.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
Well, you're very nice to talk to you. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, Teresa. You have a beautiful rest of your day.
And thank you. You too.
Teresa passed away this summer, so that meant a lot to her and her family. And now our interview with Lucci, who tells us about her show Deadly Affairs on the eve of its second season. I am so excited to hear all about what you've got going on. It's sinfully good, isn't it?
That's a great way to describe it. Absolutely sinfully good.
Yeah, we're talking about a show, the hit series Deadly Affairs. These are people who, well, maybe they went into this relationship with the best of intentions. Certainly didn't end up that way, did it, for some of them, or for all of them?
You're so right. Absolutely. These relationships start out with, you know, great joy and happiness and romance, and they end up exactly the opposite. Each of them different, each of them more incredible than the next, but they're real life and they're true. And so, you know, it is true what they say, that truth is stranger than fiction. These are real life crimes of passion, love triangles, love quadrangles in some cases, gone as bad as they possibly can.
Yeah, when we hear that, we hear these stories, we don't believe that they're true, but they really are. Have you ever heard from any of the folks involved who say, I never thought I'd end up in this situation? Do any of them ever say that?
You know, they may contact the producers or, or Investigation Discovery, the network. I haven't heard that at all. Well, most of the people the perpetrators are in jail. I mean, I love that about the show, too, because it's crime and then it's punishment. And so you see the whole thing from beginning to end. I love that, too, because a lot of the stories that we tell, they're real-life stories, and many of them you will recognize from reading about them in the newspaper. But then, you know, the news media will be on to the next story. But in Deadly Affairs, you get a chance to see what really happened. You see it dramatically reenacted. You see interviews and hear about the real-life details from investigators, from relatives and friends who were there. And you see how it plays out. You see the crime. So I wouldn't be really hearing from them because, you know, the victim is dead and the
perpetrators are in jail.
Perpetrators in jail.
Right, yeah. You're right. I guess what I meant was whenever we hear from the perpetrators, sometimes they have a story to tell. And this is, of course, why your show is so popular, because you do get to hear the stories of these people in a more complete way than maybe we would on the nightly news. Why is it so perfect?
It's true.
Yeah. Why is it so perfect that you are the host of this? I mean, when you think of soap operas, I've seen some plot lines I just don't believe, but you're saying some of these even rival those plot lines, huh?
Absolutely. I have my jaw-dropping week after week, episode after episode, with all of these people who think who don't consider just walking away from a relationship if it's gone bad, or, you know, divorce is an option, separation is an option, but every single one of these people, and it's such a wide, diverse group. you know, each of these people thinks that they're going to commit murder and get away with it. That it would even come into their minds, let alone the plotting that they do. And it's really amazing. It was presented to me, the idea of my hosting the show was presented to me by Henry Schleif, who's the head of Investigation Discovery Network, and has been so dynamic. The presentation was just so bright and witty, and he had pictures of, in addition to the presentation, the words were so bright and witty, but then he had pictures of me as Erica Kane from All My Children with the different men and the different love triangles that went really wrong.
Yeah.
With me in jail, sometimes with blood on my hands. And I just thought, I have got to meet Henry Schleif and hear what he has to say. And I loved Henry and his team. It was love at first sight, and I'm so happy to be doing this show. It's a really interesting show, too, in that Deadly Affairs is a little bit different than most, because I host the show as a character. I host the show as a character, and then I narrate the show in the voice of that character. So it's a little different. And even so, as that character, sometimes I'm Rosie the Riveter, or I'm a trainer, or I'm a chef, and all of it has to do with the theme of the stories that we're telling within that episode.
Okay, so you're giving the viewer a whole lot here. It's not just the details of the crime, but you know, they're being entertained from start to finish, all the way through. So that is very unique. That certainly sets it apart. Yeah. And who better to do that than Erica Kane or yourself?
Well, it's so fun because the character is not Erica Kane, but certainly a nod to Erica Kane.
Of course, but I'm saying to the viewer who knows you. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a lot of costume changes, and I shoot on location. So I also am not in a studio. I'm actually on location shooting as well. So it is very entertaining from beginning to end.
Oh, well, we thank you so very much, Susan, for joining us. And again, it's the second season of Deadly Affairs, true life stories, from marriage to murder, and everything in between. Thank you so much, Susan. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Great talking to you.
My mom always loved her, too. Yeah. Seems very likable.
She is, obviously.
Very nice. Hey, in what other show on television do you see Susan Lucci and the lead singer of a legendary metal band?
This one, up next on CW Rochester, Metallica's James Hetfield talks to us about the group's concert film hitting theaters tomorrow.